Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So, Scorpio, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. Tonight, we have a great energy. We have that Two of Cups. We have that love, love, love. The cups are all about the water, of course. And the water is all about those emotional, what is the word? I'm always thinking of what is the word? It is food, it is medicine, it is the sustenance that flows into other aspects of our life, all parts of our life really, and feeds the parts that we need it to. And sometimes the parts that not so much, right? Sometimes love can distort all the mini realities. Let's be real. Now, I'm not just talking about romantic love. In fact, so often here when we talk about love, it is a million miles away from that romantic love. So don't worry, this will not be just the love reading. But the love is all of the things, right? It is our hobbies, our careers, our children, our companions. And I'm talking plants, animals, maybe even, I can't even say the two letters together because I think it tanks in the algorithm. But that thing that everybody is starting to talk to, right? There's a lot of different applications of it all over the internet. And I think we're all feeling a little, nervous about the rise of singularity, or at least plummeting towards, I should say. But there are a lot of people, and I'm just going to be that person. Because listen, let's get beyond duality. Not everything's all bad, right? There are a lot of people who are finding deep connection to the, we'll just say it, to the artificial intelligence side of, technology right now. And so I'm reserving anything I have to say about it, but it's a consideration now in our many kinds of love. What will we call this one? I wonder. But hopefully, I'm all about the agape. I'm here for the divine love, okay? I'm here for our connecting to the universe, the divinity, the mystery, all of that. So I'm hoping that's what we have going. That's what we have cooking. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to tap this thing. Not to be polite, right? Lift it up and we're going to take a look. Let's see. Now, I want to go ahead and say again, thank you so much for clicking on this reading. It is wonderful to have you here. I appreciate each and every one of you greatly. And I feel very blessed to be able to do these readings for you. Okay, so let's pull her out. Sometimes you can see the faces more clearly. So it looks like we have a little bit of turmoil going on. We can see it. It looks like argument. Two people. Okay. One almost kind of has the hand raised. So I'm not saying that this is actually devolving into that really base physical aggression. But I do feel like there's a kind of a tussle. And I think this is more intellectual, emotional, and, by extension, definitely spiritual. Because it is a dynamic that can really become distractive for you. Okay. Now, I have a face over here. You can see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And to me, I just get this distinct feeling of a feminine energy. Okay. We also have beneath it a pig. So you can see the outline of the pig, and the snoot would be about right here. Here are the eyes, the cute little ears, and going down into the neck over here. So the pig is, to me, my connection to it is often two different things. One is, well, we know the story of the soldiers' journeying about with Odysseus. I always mix them up. I think it's in Odysseus, right? They go to the island. They see the goddess. And I am not going to name her today only because, oh, baby, we are on the cusp of a very heavy full moon coming up. And I don't know, but the magic is very potent right now. And I am going to be careful about who I am invoking myself in my own, like the things that I am uttering, which is hard during a reading. But yeah, I'm very superstitious. So we're going to be very careful in my readings today about who are we invoking. Now, I don't even know what day is the full moon coming up on, because I can feel it so deeply. So we have about 4 more days, it looks like. When you see this, it'll be about 3 days. So we're coming up on the full moon in its totality around the 11th. Okay, I'm doing this reading on the 6th. So we will have obviously the full moon technically will only be on the 11th, but it kind of spans into the previous day and the day after. So we will be coming into this energy soon. Anyways, about the pigs. So they end up on this island, blah, blah. I don't know. I can't remember. They try to leave, I think. And she's like, nah, eat my food. And you're going to, she turns them into pigs, basically rendering them lovable and useless. But that's one, so here's what I get from that in connection, what is the symbolism? Well, it's being trapped under the spell of something, right? If it's a distraction, an addiction, maybe it is your impulse to push away, ghost, isolate, hide. That can be a very compulsive feeling. I understand that. I do. I absolutely am somebody that will just disappear. You will never hear from me again, And yeah, sometimes that's your first, just let's do it. We're in this society now, this world where it's maybe a little bit frowned upon, but we all know that people ghost each other. They just get up out of there, never hear from them again, and I think that happens more and more, which is weird because we have so much access to each other, so you can see if somebody is still alive and well and doing stuff, but just won't talk to you, which is an interesting layer. It's kind of, I don't know. I've been in this place where I've been doing a lot of shadow work lately and journaling. And so I'm really contemplating how our very rapidly shifting social mores and dynamics and, what is acceptable, what is not. It shifts so frequently, by the day sometimes. I feel like for you, there is this almost kind of feeling of getting back into this coping mechanism that you have. And I feel like you're very aware of it. That's the thing. And I'm looking at this feminine energy and I'm really thinking it feels oppressive, but at the same time, I almost feel like it's that energy of a parent trying to teach you, like a mother trying to teach you, and you're annoyed. You're a kid, right? Well, you might be an adult even too. But you just don't want to hear it. Your mom thinks she's always right. You know, of course she probably is. She's been through life a lot longer. Has done a lot of different things and understands, the workings of the world to some degree. And so you're resistant. But then, right, time passes, you start to maybe come around to whatever, and you start to see that this was a help. You didn't like it. Maybe it was uncomfortable, but it was a help. And I wonder if it does. It feels like this is where that aggression really is. And when I see the pig, I feel like there's the one side where it can feel like this oppressive energy kind of forcing you to be or change or like turning into the pig, like being forced into being something that you don't want to be. Right? And dwelling in that, not knowing how to get out of that. Now, the other pig kind of symbolism that I feel is just really one of kind of just wanting to go about business, living your life, doing your thing, not wanting to be bothered. Just, you know what I mean? Going about it. I don't want to hear all of the dramas. I don't want to be in the loop. I just want to be out here doing my thing, hanging out, eating, playing, getting into an argument about something inconsequential, right? And then coming back around. It feels to me almost like childhood, like having a sibling that you're hanging out with all summer long. And you love each other. You are happy that you have somebody to play with, to be around, to go through life with. But then also you get on each other's nerves. There's no question that there's love there. But yeah, sometimes you're going to bicker, right? And so I feel like for you, you have these moments of, there's an intense feeling of, I don't want to hear what you have to say. But I think the work is in getting out of that kind of resistant energy, which I get, I say often in these Scorpio or Virgo readings that we're like twins. Scorpios, Virgos were very similar, I think, in a lot of ways. Although Scorpio is always the cooler one, So I feel like for you, the work is in not shutting down or not, getting in that like tit for tat or just really like pushing somebody away immediately, right? They have something that feels challenging and it's just no. Now, I keep looking at this and we have to, it's also something that can feel a little challenging. I'm just going to preface this. Now, we have two couples, one person here, one person here, one couple, one person here, one person here, one couple. Okay. They look like they're facing each other. You can see the heads kind of like they're talking, they're embracing. Now overhead, I almost to me, it looks like we have somebody kind of almost floating overhead. Right? Now, we also have over here, it looks like a person who is holding something that looks like almost like a statue of a cow. You can see them standing here, and here's the cow. This would be like the cow statue. So I do have a very strong feeling of Hathor. Okay, so the mother goddess. And over here we have the scythe. So my impression here is possibly divorce. Now, we have a person standing right here with their arm up, and it looks like they're about to dive into water after this mermaid. We have the mermaid tail, and we have kind of the head going in, splashing. Now, we also have a person sitting here. Kind of, you can see the head and the body in this posture in a very like almost sorrowful or tired kind of contemplative state. So I hope that this does not apply to you, because it feels like a big part of your life. Probably, I imagine, like years of being with somebody, marriage, partnership, companionship. And I feel like there is a sense of, I don't know, another person kind of lingering in the relationship. And I do feel like this might be on your side, it might be on theirs. I don't know, but I do feel like there's a lot of symbols when I'm looking at this that are like symbols of mystery and secret. So I get the feeling, and this is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to refrain and be very careful here because I don't like hearing about this in readings myself, and it always puts me on edge in general, right? But it does feel like this is old. Okay. And I'm just going to be straight up. It feels like there was probably some infidelity. Now, I don't think that it was just like a physical thing. And that's where I think this is so painful, because it feels almost like being in or around somebody who is always looking for like a cheap love or thrill, right? Like this constantly chasing after the feeling of the novelty of beginning love, right? That like honeymoon period. So I don't know if this is you or maybe a partner, a spouse, or, whatever, somebody. And so I feel like this leads to separation. I mean, really. And it is an ordeal. It is an ordeal because it feels like life is so woven together, and this behavior feels like, and this feeling of compulsion keeps coming up here. It does. It feels like something that is like a really, really, really well developed, and that means used a lot, coping mechanism, right? The fear of being alone, the fear of not feeling wanted or validated or, desired or whatever it is, to be seen, to be heard. And so I feel like this is a very distinct ending in your life. This is like one of those big moments. We all have a few of them when we look back over our life, but this will be one of them. And it's not just because of the relationship ending, but I think the big thing here is that this kind of change in your life will change all aspects of your life. So this is like a really big shift. Okay. Now, I really do think that this is an old thing. And I do believe through this ordeal, right, you didn't just let it corrupt you or corrode your heart, your soul, your ability to connect to others. Now, I do feel like maybe you're much more cautious about people. Maybe it took a long time to date. Maybe you still haven't dated, But what I do feel like is there is such a strength that came out of all of this for you. And that's that hawthorn holding the cow statue, or you could think of it as like a bust, right? And hawthorn is depicted in a variety of forms, but you often see her maybe with like these weird kind of elf ears, and those are her cow ears. But there are cow statue where she's full on a cow, right? Not humanoid at all. And so this is kind of more the bust that I'm thinking of, where it's like just the cow head and the crown, right? The solar crown. And holding it at this level, kind of in the torso and the chest, and kind of like holding it up, like you are holding it in a power stance, right? A votive stance as well. And to me, this says everything about your fortification. Hathor is a middle goddess. She is not only intuitive, but wise. She's not yet to that point of being cynical or destructive. She still is in that active, nurturing, minding, looking after. And yes, the mother goddesses are often, very multifaceted. But we often we don't look at some of the more difficult aspects, right? So I think for you, you are coming into a place in your life now where you are starting to be more and more okay with being the bad guy or the villain or being misunderstood. Or if somebody doesn't meet you with at least some of the energy that you are meeting them with, it doesn't bother you. That's a them thing, not a you thing. I see you being much more knowing of self. I feel that in this time, we've let go of a lot of the child things. Life is a lot about protecting your peace now. And that seems very evident to me. So we have, I'm trying to look at this real quick here. And I feel like this has to be like the name Becker, maybe. Something like this. We have it over here, right in here. Okay, so, oops, is that out of focus? Yeah, B-E-K. And to me, I feel, it could be just B-E-K, but I feel like it's something like Becky or Becker or Beckham, maybe. I've heard that name a lot. It's funny to be like an older parent and see the like trends that are popular right now in my daughter's age group. And then like when I was like maybe in my 20s and my friends started having some kids and stuff. So all the names that were really popular, even just like 10, 15 years ago, a lot of those aren't popular anymore. And it's funny to see like all of those names. Now they're starting to graduate and stuff. So I get delighted about the waves of different popular names. I don't know why. I like names. I do. I think that names have a deep effect on who we are and expressing who we are. And it's not always our given name. Let me just be clear. Or a government name. It can be whatever name or names that, you get there and it emerges in your life, a nickname, or you see a name and you start, oh, I want to call myself that, or, whatever. You find they're like little shiny keys in our life, right? And it's one more thing to help unlock some part of ourself. And so, I don't know. I love names. So anyways, it looks like a chicken. We have a chicken right here. Probably actually a rooster. So we do have, it looks like an alarm going off. You can see kind of all the sound. We also have a hammer right here. We have a hammer. And we have a person over here kind of lifting their arm and pointing out into the cosmos. And I just get this distinct message I feel like your understanding of life, reality, what things mean and what they, what is meaningful, what is not meaningful, all this kind of stuff, this existential stuff. I feel like it is changing for you. And that's what that hammer is about. And the person pointing out into the universe. I feel like it's this, everything that you held on to, your idea of, whatever. Like we've all got this concept of how life should be, right? What we need to do to live a life that we can be proud of. Now, we're also very much tied to these collective ideas, things like, like things like, the American dream, right? Or this idea of going from lower education, although that's not lower education, but fundamental education, and then going into higher education, right? Going off to college and then figuring it out and getting your career going at a very young age for some reason. Knowing what you need to do for the next at least 10 years, right? Deciding when you're basically a baby. And, yeah, right? And then you finish that, you go out, you make your money, you make your bag or whatever, and then hopefully you can get a house and fill the basement with coins and swim in it like Scrooge McDuck or whatever, right? And we all, most of us anyways, are conditioned by these collective ideas of why we're here. What we should do with our lives, what works, what doesn't work, and we get to a point, at some point, maybe many points, where we start to realize like the illusion is slipping. The illusion is slipping. There are so many ways to live. There are endless ways to live, as much as you can everything you can imagine. if it's a subtle shift or if it is like an overhaul of every aspect of your reality. But I see you, you're going through it like a lot of us are going through it. And we're trying to figure out, where are we going? Where are we all going? Where is this thing going, dude? What is going on? You know, and a lot of us are there. And then a lot of us, too, are just so freaking busy trying to stay afloat. We don't have time to indulge all of the worry or the wondering, what is happening? I don't have time to worry about what's happening. I don't know. I feel something is happening. I can see it in other people's eyes and hear it in their voices. But here we are, a lot of us just trying to stay afloat. But, things shift and we shift with them. So I do feel like this is where you're at, Scorpio. And you're in good company, okay? Don't feel alone, even though this does feel very lonely for a lot of us. Okay, we have number 85, our first lucky number, 85, 3, and we'll go 88. 88, crazy 88. All right, and we're going to do our wild bohemian affirmation cards. All right, and I'll stop where it feels right. All right, number 29. I am seer. You know how to clear and renew. Art and creativity are your magnificent tools. Are your magnificent. Ooh, magnificent. Did you hear that? Tools. They are. I always think that the Philosopher's Stone, or one of them, is art. I mean, just whatever art means in all of its variety. Yeah, I forget even what the parameters or, the diagnostics of what the Philosopher's Stone is or is not. But I've always just thought it was art. I don't know. I mean, that's just me. So let's see. We're going to do our Dreamer's deck. And just flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says, I know that it is important to work hard and play even harder. I am supposed to have fun. I am supposed to have fun. Heck yeah. I've been dancing so much. I'm into this new musician. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's super new, but it's new to me. And it's a new kind of music I have never gotten deeply into. And I'm like really into music. I'm obsessed. I'm an obsessive music fan. Not about the people, but the music. I'm a crate digger. I'm out there looking for music all the time. If you have music you want to share with me, with us, put it in the comments, because I would love. I check out everything that you know what? I'm going to make a post about it. I'm going to have people, I want all of you, every single one of you. I want you to tell me what you're listening to and also recommend something really good. Something good. But I've been listening to this guy, Sam Barber. And it's kind of like country. I think singer-songwriter is like the genre kind of. But pretty freaking awesome. I have been, the album, whatever album he put out like last year, I think. I've just got it going over and over. I think everybody in my life is probably pretty over it. But I've been dancing, slow dancing in the kitchen to it, and all by myself. But yeah. Let's have some fun this summer, you guys. I mean, really, or winter. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, winter too. Winter is my favorite, so that's like the real fun time of the year. But anyways, yes, I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm rambling. It's been like a real maze of thought today. So thank you for putting up with me. This is my first reading of the day. So I'm just kind of, I'm easing in here. I mean, I'm going to make myself snort. Anyways, I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Absolutely. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. Scorpio, good night. Good night.